Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Daniel Radcliffe. In the news this week, in London, Ed Miliband thinks he may have turned up too early for a party rally of his most loyal supporters.
Where are they?
With more time on his hands, there's evidence that Jeremy Clarkson is looking for ways to liven up his weekly shop. And a man on his way to give a motivational speech on anger management narrowly misses his train to Ipswich. And finally, the election result is thrown into disarray as just weeks before polling day, a Hogwarts pupil reveals his allegiance.
Oh dear.
On Ian's team tonight is a comedy actress who says to be a really good comedian, you need to have been sacked or in jail. At last, a bright future for Andy Coulson. Please welcome Diane Morgan. And with Paul tonight is a writer and satirist who claims he never answers his phone after 6 o'clock. So he's more relaxed, but he'll miss out on thousands of pounds of compensation for missold PPI. Please welcome Armando Iannuci. And we start with the first of what's going to be many montages of an increasingly tedious nature about the election. Paul and Armando, here's yours.
Yes. This is the TV debate. There's two of them having a go at each other. There's Nigel, not really knowing what's going on, and Nick's asleep.
Yes, this was the much-anticipated ITV leadership debate.
Who was it much anticipated by?
I enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah, for those of us who watch that stuff, it's like the Cup final. It's great. This is what we waited for. The fact that it was a 0-0 draw is boring.
In Ed Miliband's notes, it said, "Look like you've much anticipated this."
The notes he left in his room.
Yes.
Was there anyone you felt did particularly well or badly?
Well, let's see. Everyone expecting Natalie Bennett to have another brain freeze, which she didn't, so that was a triumph.
I like Leanne Wood's beehive.
And she had a beehive?
Yeah. A beehive.
Was that a policy or a... the head?
Hairstyle.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Don't try and drag Ian into popular cultural references. Even if they're from the 1960s, they'll only confuse him.
You mentioned the notes Ed Miliband left in his room.
Yes.
Do you want to expand on what they said?
Do not leave these notes in my dressing room.
That would have been good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He reminded himself to be a happy warrior, which is a phrase from William Wordsworth. According to The Sun, Wordsworth wrote the line in 1806 after the death of Nelson to describe the ideal man of arms. There's one thing you can say about Nelson is that he wasn't the ideal man of arms. What do politicians mean by the phrase happy warrior?
Isn't it from Obama? I mean, I think a lot of Americans use it. It means be angry about issues, but not in a weird way.
Right.
It means smile and say, bedroom tax is disgusting.
Yes,
It's a very odd thing to do.
Any other notes that you remember him leaving himself?
Look at the camera, and above all else, keep referring everything to you at home and the decision you, the people, are going to have to make in 4 weeks' time.
It has indeed been described as the sort of thing that Malcolm Tucker would suggest in the thick of it. Do you think that somewhere in Labour HQ there is a little Tucker at work?
Quite sure there's loads of Tuckers everywhere. I think he said he doesn't watch the thick of it because it's too close to the truth, he said.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Good.
But I wrote that.
What reason did David Cameron give for finally agreeing to take part in a leadership debate?
Well, he'd given so many reasons for not doing it. He'd said, oh, I'll do it if the Greens do it, and the Greens said they'd do it. And he said, oh, well, OK, I'll do it if the other lot do it, and they said they'd do it. And he said, well, I'll do it if it's not on a Tuesday. And eventually he had to do it. And he was desperately keen not to debate.
He said, I'm unblocking the logjam, which is never a pleasant job.
No.
Another star of the debate was this member of the audience, who had a pretty fantastic start. He held the title of the best-known mustachioed member of the audience of an election debate for a full week, at which point the Scottish leaders' debate took place and the title was passed to this man.
Yes.
Back to the seven-way debate. Ed Miliband made some last-minute preparations by buying something. Do you know what it was? Buying two of something.
He bought some shoes.
He did.
From Clark's.
Yes, I think that was true as well. Yeah, very nicely
I can't
specified.
believe it. Yeah, I know this.
What size were they? Do you know the size?
No, I don't know, but I'm guessing he's a 10.
But wasn't the important thing that he bought two pairs of shoes to stop people saying he's indecisive?
Maybe he's got two different sized feet, so he has to buy two pairs.
Yeah.
One in a 10.5 and one in an 11.
It might be even a bigger discrepancy than that. It might be 4 and 12 or something, you know. He might have two normal feet unequally spread, you know. Like twins, sometimes one twin gets the bigger feet, you know.
You're just trying to help his opponents call him weird.
Yeah, that's true.
And what did Nigel Farage betray total ignorance about?
This is a big range.
It's a spectrum, really, isn't it?
Oh, it was actually the geography of Britain. Nigel Farage complained about the amount of money going over Hadrian's
Hadrian's Wall, which is in Scotland.
No, yes, indeed. It is apparently...
It's in Wales.
in some places it's 50 miles south of the actual border, apparently. So Nigel may not be able to get us out of Europe, but he has managed to get half of Northumberland out of England. The first leadership debate involved Jeremy Paxman, Ed Miliband and David Cameron. Can anyone remember what happened at the end of it that was rather odd?
Well, I thought it was that he asked him if he was all right.
It was just a bit patronising, wasn't it?
So
I've been very, very rude to you. Yeah. I've said you're a geek and a weirdo and you betrayed your family, but you were right.
Yeah, right.
This is quite odd, really.
I think we've got it here to look at the oddness.
I believe that I'm the best choice to be Prime Minister.
Ed Miliband, thank you.
Thank you.
You okay, Ed?
Sorry?
You all right?
Yeah. You?
It's like a hit-and-run driver putting a pillow under the victim's head, isn't it? Comfortable now? Do you remember how you got here?
But he didn't ask Cameron that.
No.
Fantastic. Cameron appears on a show with Paxman, and Paxman asks him a quite difficult question, and Cameron was outraged. How dare you ask me questions?
Yeah.
I've come on a debate.
My favourite answer that Cameron gave, which was kind of a brilliant politician's answer when they said, what is the thing you regret most about your thing? And he just said, well, the things we did brilliantly, we should have done sooner. Which is like a great way of not answering or fessing up to anything. Another question for you, Ian. Are you Toughy Nuts?
Am I Toughy Nuts?
You know that children's character? You are Toughy Nuts and I claim my £5.
Sorry, it's the beard. Tough enough.
No, it's
That's a drawback for an actor, isn't it? Your beard, if you can't be heard through the beard.
I know. It's going to be terrible. I can never do stage
You
work
could be on
again.
Jamaica Inn.
It's a question Ed Miliband asked himself during the debate.
Am I tough enough?
And he hasn't even got a beard. What would he be like with a beard?
and then he answers it.
But am I tough enough? Tough enough? Hell yes, I'm tough enough.
Oh, leave him alone.
There might be more.
But do you think we've moved into cinema?
That noise.
Yes.
That noise is heralding the first of our 4 election bonus buzzer questions.
Innovation after 25 years?
This is...
Keep going.
A chance for an extra point.
Oh,
with
yes.
a quick-fire question.
All right, hold on. Fingers
The
on
category is...
Yeah.
What happened to the prospective parliamentary candidate next? Okay. Fingers on buzzers. Here's UKIP's prospective candidate for Caerphilly, Sam Gould, after writing We Love Nige in the Margate Sand. What happened next?
He didn't realise that the way the tide works is that it comes in and out. And he was unaware that that's what it does, and it came in. and he got stranded and he had to be pulled up onto a wall.
The access ramp had been covered by an incoming tide and he had to be hauled to safety by a UKIP press officer.
There's been some worse honeymoons than that.
Let's end with some unrelated random questions to the campaign. First, I would like to know, who is Phelan McCavity?
He's a dentist.
He's a...
Thank you very much.
They have to laugh before you say thank you very much.
He is a Green Party councillor for Brighton and Hove.
Right.
And who is Jason Kitcat?
Jason what? Kit Kat?
Kitcat.
Jason Kit Kat.
Yeah.
He comes in different versions. There's chunky, there's 2 fingers.
He's UKIP.
He's another Green Party councillor for Brighton and Hove.
Oh, yes.
It's the best named place in the UK, if you want a councillor. On the first official day of the campaign, what did each of the politicians do?
Just wanted to do that.
Cameron went to Buckingham Palace to ask for Parliament to officially be dissolved.
Did Miliband go to the palace as well?
No, he gave a speech
Pays his
to...
£8 and had a look around the picture.
Miliband gave a speech to business leaders, while Nick Clegg actually went to a hedgehog sanctuary.
Of course, yes.
Something that he soon regretted.
Really poorly. She got maggots in every orifice.
So she could no longer look after the hedgehog.
I like these animals.
I do.
I'm just saying, why do the Liberals choose a hedgehog? And even Mrs Thatcher, do you remember she grabbed a cow?
Yeah.
And did Miliband have an animal? Did he not join in?
I haven't got
I
one.
would have liked him sitting with a massive tarantula on his face. Farage didn't do an animal thing, did he?
I'm not that I know of, but...
He met up with Joey Essex, which was similar. Maybe he thinks Joey Essex is a baby kangaroo.
After meeting Joey Essex, shall we see how Nigel Farage's photo op went?
Yeah.
Right, that noise means it's time for some more election bonus buzzer questions. This category is Who Said This?
Right.
All our recent quotes.
OK.
Fingers on buzzers. Who said, with the best will in the world, I am not going to be Prime Minister?
David Cameron.
Nigel Farage said that.
Yes, he did.
He did, yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Points. Who said with the... Oh, no, I've just done that one.
Yeah.
Who said...
Nigel Farage. there's too many repeats on the BBC. We're in programmes.
Who said, I once met John Noakes from Blue Peter at King's Cross Station. He was moderately friendly.
That's got to be Nick Clegg. Nick Clegg.
No.
No.
Miliband.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good one.
I was going to say Valerie Singleton, but...
And finally, who said this? The mansion tax would fuck me over.
Duke of Edinburgh.
Carol Fernandez Versini. So...
Is she standing for anyone?
She is, that's why we brought it up. I don't know.
Why does her shadow belong to somebody else? It's clearly the shadow of a thick-set man in his 50s. Has she got low self-esteem or something?
This is the seven-way debate featuring a group of party leaders eager to put their case to the electorate. Seeing the 7 party leaders on stage together reminded me of the 7 dwarves. Happy, Grumpy, Goofy, Scotty, Greeny, Creepy, and the one out of Plaid Cymru. According to the Daily Mail, the debate saw SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon transform herself into a glamorous imperatrix. That's one of my favourite spells. Ian and Diane, take a look at this.
Oh, it won't stay in. It's another metaphor. Hi, I'm a normal guy.
I don't want any milk. You're killing me.
Oh, he's back.
Back again, like cystitis.
Loyal support.
Is that Blair now? He's really changed. This is the rest of the election.
Yes, basically. It's the
Going well.
The resurrection of Tony Blair.
Yes, Ed Miliband has enough problems and suddenly he's backed by Tony.
Yes. Mail referred to it as Blair's toxic embrace, which is probably fair enough.
He gave a speech suggesting that you really can't trust people to vote.
Yes.
We can't have an EU referendum because the British people might come up with the wrong verdict.
Yes.
And he's right. I mean, they voted for him 3 times.
Who proved this week that he is very much in tune with popular culture and the young people?
Was it me?
Down with the young people. It's it was somebody we've already mentioned, isn't it?
Yes.
Ed Balls.
No,
We haven't mentioned him.
No. It's the only one we haven't, really.
I think Ed Miliband said he watches CBBC.
Yes, it must be Ed Miliband. It's the sort of thing
Right.
I'd say, isn't it?
It's
That's down with the very young people, isn't it? The Teletubbies are back.
And Thunderbirds, they're back.
Yeah, and they're new. I saw that the other day driving past. They're not puppets.
I know. But they're animated but look like puppets.
Odd.
Which is weird. It's like neither one thing nor the other. It's
Have you
a
seen
strange...
Parker? He looks like Serge Gainsbourg.
They used to have the puppets used to smoke in the '65 version. You'd see them sort of lounging around, sort of like Tracy Island, sort of trying to get a cigarette in their mouth. But the hair would go. They stopped it after a while.
They used to do cutaway to real hands.
Yes, that's right. On wristwatches and things.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they were
Or
putting
opening
something in.
safes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a real hand.
They should bring all of this back.
With strings on.
Well, that's for the young people.
It was David Cameron who gave an interview this week to...
He's given a lot.
He gave this one to Heat magazine.
The tough ones first.
Yes.
David Cameron's in Heat.
Well, that lamb looked so petrified.
Indeed, yeah.
He began the interview by saying, "Wow, Heat must be where it's at. When I'm interviewed by the BBC, there's only one person. You've got a whole film crew."
But they make television programmes, do they, Heat?
They
magazines.
Yeah, but they make everything. There's not a magazine that doesn't have some online.
It's multi-platform.
Multi-platform. It's 360.
They do the lot. 360.
360 commissioning.
360 digital.
Yeah.
Private Eye, I think, has just hired a town crier, haven't you?
And he does some very, very good acting in the video, which is worth watching, because obviously they're tough questions, but he needs to show that they're tough. So.
That's better than John Major. Do you remember John Major when he was in the Party Political Broadcast and sort of he was in the back of the car to see if his old house in Brixton was still there, and he'd been there the week before to make sure it was. It's like, oh look, it's still there.
He won't take on Miliband one-to-one in a debate, but he'll be filmed for Heat, acting badly.
And be asked to act badly, presumably, and say yes.
I'm sure they didn't put it that
Like that.
I mean, in your business, no one says, would you like to do this very badly, do they?
Well,
though it often works.
Sometimes don't get an option with me. Where did Cameron visit in one day this week?
All of the UK.
He did Edinburgh, Belfast, Cardiff and Newquay, all in one day. If David Cameron had visited Skegness, he might have met this man.
Who have you voted for in the past?
Well, at various people, since Winston Churchill when he was here long.
Right, well, that was a while ago, wasn't it? What about the last election? Who did you vote for then?
Mr. Harold Wilson, sir.
Harold Wilson. Well, that was 40 years ago as well.
It's actually Parker and Lady Pinocchio.
What did Cameron do a lot of on this trip?
Eat pies.
Yes, eating. Tons of it.
Was it all pies?
I think there was some fish and chips.
Yes.
A pie, a pasta, steak bake.
Yeah.
Great.
He had a lamb biryani shortly after he fattened it up with some milk. I'll be having you later on, the youngster. Have a bit more. I know he doesn't talk like that, but I don't do it.
That's his real voice. The
Yeah.
posh thing's all put on.
Hello, everybody. Go on, what a bleeding day I'm about. Yes.
Yeah, he had apparently a fry-up in Edinburgh. In Cardiff, he had a meat pie and a pint of brains. And in UK...
A pint of brains?
I assume that is a brand.
It's a beer.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it that. And in UK, he had fish and chips and a pint of Doom Bar. And
Very apt.
And then when he got to London, he did a massive waz.
I don't know why I said that. We just feel the elections come to that. Really.
You had to let it out.
On the subject of food, what were the Germans astonished by? And
What, this week?
Yes.
Something we eat that they find astonishing.
Well, something that David Cameron ate. I'm going to attempt my
Haggis.
best German accent.
Oh, okay, go on.
I've never taken a lesson of German, so this is probably offensive.
Yeah.
Right. Just think of it as an audition.
Thanks.
Next.
Wahlkampf in Großbritannien. David Cameron isst Hotdog mit Besteck. Shocking.
Just bring it down a bit.
Okay. Gott in Himmel, Cameron isst einen Hotdog mit Messer und Gabel. Teufel. So that translates loosely as Cameron eats a hot dog with a knife and fork, which was something that he did this week, which...
Oh, yeah, because he was scared of the whole bacon sandwich thing, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten anything with your hands, Ian?
Yes, I believe I ate an apple.
What is Ed Miliband going to put a stop to?
Non-doms.
Non-doms.
Non-doms, yes. Can you explain what non-doms are, please? For me and everyone.
Non-domiciled people who live... They claim that they live here, but they claim they live somewhere else.
Right.
Because they're greedy bastards.
There you go. Which newspaper is, unsurprisingly, a bit cross about the loss of non...
The Daily Mail.
Yes.
Because its owner is one.
Its owner is one.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Ed Miliband's got to be really careful. He's not going to get much good coverage in the Daily Mail. He keeps poking sticks at him like this.
No, it's amazing when people say, well, the press didn't react to this announcement very well. Well, that's a big surprise then. Daily Mail owned by a non-dom, Telegraph owned by people who are not even resident. They say they live in Monaco and then pretend to live in the Channel Islands.
Yeah.
Murdoch? Oh, he left this country to become an American citizen. And his tax arrangement's quite interesting. I'm not saying sorry for that.
No.
The lesson is...
I'm gonna react again.
I'm determined to see the end of this round, I tell you. Before I die. Go on, what's next then? Go on.
Oh, shall I just...
Yeah, go play.
Right. Time for our final
It's
election.
a score still, 0-0. This doesn't have to be as long as the election.
Time for our final, I promise.
Hey!
Election bonus buzzer round.
Election bonus buzzer round.
The category is battle buses.
Battle buses, yeah.
Yeah. Fun this, isn't it?
Yeah.
What has the Lib Dem battle bus got that the others haven't?
No wheels.
It has got a satellite transmitter, which allows Nick Clegg to conduct radio interviews on the move, and it also has a lighting system with disco mode. What is unusual about the Greens battle bus?
It's a cabbage.
It runs on chip fat.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Chip fat.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's bad for you.
Not in an engine.
Who would like to hear from ITV reporter Chris Shipp? I know I do.
Yeah, all right then.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just to keep you happy.
Thank you.
Now, the Lib Dems today also claimed that the Tories said to them, in fact, the Lib Dems also said today, the Lib Dems man in the Treasury, Danny Alexander, said that the Tories claimed that they... I should probably start this all again.
That's just great. There's no question off the back of that. It's just good. So this, yes, is the post-Easter surge of electoral activity. Ed Miliband has vowed to end non-dom tax status. According to The Guardian, a typical tax exile will have UK residency, a Swiss account and assets hidden in companies and trusts established in the UK protectorates, such as Jersey, Guernsey, the British Virgin Islands or the Cayman Islands. Of course, that's not always true. I use Luxembourg. In other news, Ed Miliband has been accused of planning to do a deal with the SNP that involves scrapping Trident. Confidence in the UK's nuclear deterrent has sunk to an all-time low. Luckily, it's on a submarine, so it doesn't really matter. And so to round 2, the Picture Square quiz. Buzz when you know what it is.
Oh, that's good.
It is, I like that.
It's a policeman.
Yes. Would you like to expand on that? Anything more than you know about that policeman?
He's arresting a goldfish.
This is the news that a new police constable is being sought for the Isles of Scilly. What have been some of the most high-profile cases of crime on the island, if you'd like to guess?
Occasionally a sheep does a little bit of sort of ID fraud. But other than that, it's fairly easy going.
Someone tried to break into a shed.
Yes, they did.
And then the only evidence they found was a fried egg.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have that.
The policeman said it was weird because there was no bread around it.
There's the fried egg. And there is the investigation. One recent call on the island included dealing with a stray seal in the high street. And in another, officers had to deal with a short-sighted horse damaging cars. Yeah, this is an advert for a vacancy for a policeman on the Isles of Scilly. In fact, this advert for policing in the Scilly Isles feels so unreal and twee that Martin Clunes has already started filming there for his new Sunday night ITV drama, Silly Sausage, in which he plays DCI John Sausage. 12 million viewers. Fingers on Buzz's teams.
This is Greece and Germany. Best of friends, best of enemies. And Greece is now trying to claim some money back off Germany for reparations, war reparations.
Yes, they have asked for £205 billion for the Second World War. Which
You've got to admire their nerve.
I mean, why is this particularly being seen as opportunism by the Greeks this week?
Well, they've got to pay back the money this week.
Yes.
And it's quite a lot of money.
Yes.
And the government has promised that the people of Greece that it won't put up taxes, it won't cut spending. It's a sort of Sturgeon-y policy. And you could argue that, you know, like Scotland, it may be difficult for Greece to afford this. But they're very clever. So they firstly said to the Germans, you owe us all this money from the war. Then they've said, we can always borrow it from the Russians.
Yes. What has Vladimir Putin, now that you've mentioned that, said that he would like in exchange from Greece for financial support?
The whole country.
I mean, pretty much. He has said he just wants their transport, infrastructure, and some strategic ports. What have we got now that Greece could really do with? What have we suddenly found?
We've got the marbles.
Yes.
Oh, oil. It's oil.
Yes,
Today.
it is oil. Yes.
Oil at Gatwick.
Yeah.
But apparently we have found 100 billion barrels worth. Although we will only be able to get at 15 billion barrels, which is enough to produce up to 30% of the UK's oil demand by 2030.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. A lot of this is in the Weald of Kent. It's quite near where I live. Well, it's in my garden, actually.
Your garden is the Weald of Kent?
It is. I try not to boast about it, but...
You're going to be a very, very powerful man.
I am. I'm going to wear a Stetson.
You could be the new JR.
I could. J.R. Artley.
Greece has tried to resolve its debt crisis by demanding 300 billion euros from Germany in compensation for Nazi war crimes, which seemed like a smart move from the Greeks until they were landed with an even bigger bill from the Trojans after that business with the wooden doors. The demand for reparations from Germany is the latest attempt by the Greeks to clear their national debt, which currently stands at £230 billion. And if they can't raise the money that way, they'll just have to write 7 books about a wizard. Also this week, they have discovered up to 100 billion barrels of oil beneath Gatwick. Environmentalists claim that if drilling for oil does go ahead, then the resulting pollution and toxic waste products could significantly brighten up nearby Croydon. Time now for the odd one out round. It's one between you this week. Right. Fingers on buzzers. Your 4 are Grant Shapps and Mick Jones out of The Clash, Benedict Cumberbatch and Richard III, the Queen and Johnny Depp, and Neil and John from Braintree.
So this is, okay, Benedict Cumberbatch and Richard III are related. And Johnny Depp and the Queen, I'm sure they're related. You can see it in their eyes, can't you? The two people at the bottom right who look like each other but have different names must be twins, separated at birth, and they found out they were married to the same woman. Grant Shapps and Mick Jones could be...
He went under a fake name, didn't he, Grant Shapps? He used to be Michael Green.
Yeah.
So he may not be his cousin at all. They are all related.
That's the odd one out, is it?
The two who look like they aren't.
Ah.
That's absolutely correct. John and Neil from Braintree are the only pair who aren't related.
Oh, they're not?
No. Their appearance aside, though, they have many other remarkable coincidences. According to the Mail, despite only having met for the first time 18 months ago, it turns out that John and Neil both attended the same college before both becoming RE teachers, and they now live just 150 yards apart from each other. Asked if she could tell them apart, Neil's wife Marion said, "I certainly can. After 47 years, you don't make that mistake." Again.
So why is that interesting?
Because...
don't stop pulling at that thread.
Why was Grant Shapps' alter ego Michael Green back in the news recently?
He denied that he was using this alias in his marketing company while he was an MP. He said that was an appalling suggestion, and he said, "I'm going to sue one of my constituents. You say that again and I'll sue." And then The Guardian turned up some film of him using that name after he'd become an MP.
Grant Shapps said in an interview that he wanted to make it absolutely clear he was not working under the name Michael Green whilst he was an MP, stating, "I did not have a second job while being an MP, end of story." When The Guardian found out he had lied, he said he had over-firmly denied the claims.
Tory party chairman, liar. Small story. Let's get back to the blokes with beards who don't know each other.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Richard III. Benedict Cumberbatch and recently reburied Richard are third cousins 16 times removed. Leicester really cashed in on the event with lots of Richard III ties, mugs, badges, T-shirts, fridge magnets, tote bags, glasses, and even ice cream on sale. But what was the weirdest thing you could pick up for £25 that day?
The Princes in the Tower?
A Richard III pen where you turn it upside down and all his clothes come off.
A Richard III inspired bowl haircut. That's a great bit of business, though. That's clever. Any of you tell me what relation Johnny Depp is to the Queen?
He's her father.
Well, they're cousins, aren't they?
20th cousins. Sticking with the Queen, here's a photo that emerged of UKIP canvassers in Bromley last week.
Oh. Why is the one who looks like a queen having a little woman live in her hair?
You don't expect her to do her own hair, do you?
No, of course not.
So yes, they are all related, apart from Neil and John, who aren't. And according to the Daily Mail, Miriam Silverman of Ancestry UK has discovered a connection between Benedict Cumberbatch and Alan Turing. Yes, Miriam, he's played him in a film. King Richard III died at the Battle of Bosworth and is actually famous for having the shortest bucket list in history. Of course. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Alpaca World. It looks quite chunky, but it's actually thinner than you think. And we start with excitement as what expected in Coventry?
Luftwaffe. It's a return visit. It's a lap of honour.
The answer is 400 alpacas. Next, male mice use what to woo their women?
Tinder.
Mice are getting off with women? Why can't they stick to female mice? What's the matter with them? Crossing species? Do they use false identity? My name's Sebastian, I have a car. No, I'm not a mouse, I just look like one.
Oh, you're taking the mickey.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Singing.
Yes, it
Singing?
is.
Yeah, male mice sing to lazy mice.
Yeah, they sing, apparently, love songs. The cheesier the better. Next. 1 in 4 MPs have what whilst campaigning?
Have told the truth. No, that was a silly answer. 1 in 4. Alpaca helpers.
It have been bitten or chased by voters' pets. Wow. According to the Daily Mail, 10 MPs have said they have been bitten when delivering leaflets through letterboxes. I didn't know dogs could read that quickly. Next, Alpaca Fiesta 2014, more spectacular than what?
The 2013 alpaca disaster.
A Ford Cortina.
That'd be a really good make of car. Could be tested on one of those popular road... Oh, no, it couldn't. Because they're not on anymore.
Ah.
The best alpaca in the world.
Alpaca Fiesta 2014, more spectacular than London Olympics. You looked at me as if you were believing me.
I know, I did, because I wanted it to be right, but it's not the...
No.
The answer is Alpaca Fiesta 2014, more spectacular than Alpaca Fiesta 1997, Alpaca Fiesta 2000, Alpaca Fiesta 2003, and Alpaca Fiesta 2007.
Why didn't we think of that?
According to Alpaca World, alpacas do a great job at keeping the lawn trim, or as Nigel Farage no doubt sees it, another example of cheap foreign labour taking work away from British goats. Next, seen a ghost? What?
Oh, it could be mould. Mould on the wall of old buildings. There's some sort of old mould grows in the building. It's got that hallucinogenic quality, so you're sort of like breathing in this mould and suddenly you see Oliver Cromwell eating a biscuit. I mean, I'm telling you this and you've done very well out of it, but it could be that you've been fabricating a fairy story there. So it's mould?
It is, absolutely, yes. This is for a study from a place called Clarkson University, which sadly has just lost control of its faculties. Next, if you're interested in seeing the creme de la creme of alpacas, what?
Press your red button now.
Visit Australia.
Oh.
Yes. Closer to home, there are a number of alpaca farms in Wales. You have to be careful, though, because they can be quite bad-tempered and spray you with spit, but that doesn't stop them from keeping alpacas.
There's another million audience gone.
And finally, what releases hormone that has the same effect as being high on drugs?
Songs of praise.
It was flicking between your smartphone and your TV.
Oh.
Is apparently
really
just the same, evidently, yes. This is according to a new study. Speaking of the link between television and highs, here is the BBC's Quentin Somerville trying to finish his report next to a burning pile of drugs in the Middle East.
Burning behind me is 8.5 tons of heroin, opium, hashish and other narcotics. Burning behind me. Quick. Wait, we just need one more.
The BBC has got a bit of film from the 1950s of a guy called Christopher Mayhew who takes LSD, I think. And so they're going to we have here Christopher Mayhew who's going to take this drug and explain to us what he's experiencing as he experiences it. So, you know, they say to him after about 15, 20 minutes, he's sitting there, quite, you know, smiling away, and they say, Mr. Mayhew, could you describe how you're feeling now? And he says, well, it all depends what you mean by now. He's still going strong, I think.
And
we can show that clip next week, can't we?
Yeah.
What do you mean, yes, got nothing to do, you? No wonder how you come in with Harry Potter. You come in, you start ordering people about.
Well, I could have him next week as well.
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
He's good.
Yeah, we've had worse.
If I leave a room and people say that, I've done well.
Yes.
And so the final scores are Ian and Diane have 8 and Paul and Armando have 7.
Oh, show.
That was the win.
I think I'm 34 series ahead of you guys.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Osborne pleased with Madame Tussauds waxwork?
That's a hooray Henry Hoover.
And this will replace Trident.
Grumpy man at back wonders why he's not included in the photograph.
Next.
Is it the bear saying they've really extended the Northern Line?
The Arctic Circle line. Don't you patronise me.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists Ian I'll say your name right. Did you know you had a name change?
No, I don't expect you to know my name. I've been doing the show for a while, but... Grant Shapps.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists Ian Hislop and Diane Morgan, Paul Merton and Armando Iannuci. And I leave you with news that David Cameron discovers that his campaign itinerary involves an overnight stay in Stoke. At a farm in Wiltshire, a long-awaited family reunion ends in disappointment for one relative. And on a short pre-election holiday in the Seychelles, William Hague looks like he's overdone it with the sunbathing. Good night.